Welcome to Six Picks Music Club, a music podcast for people who had a subscription to Nintendo Power. Welcome back to Six Picks Music Club. This is the music podcast where we each bring 2 songs around a theme to make a playlist of 6 songs for. Thanks for being a part of the Pick Crew and listening to each new episode every other Wednesday on your favorite podcast platform. A lot of plosives in my intro today, guys. I don't know.
Dude, I think you were better at this when you were fatter.
Thanks. You noticed I'm losing a little weight. I appreciate it. Hey, listener, you can help us grow the clubhouse by liking and sharing our stuff from Instagram and TikTok instead of watching another 20 minutes of Reddit porn. Anyhow, I'm Dave. That's Geoff. Here's Russ. What's happening, dudes?
Are you asking me to say something here? Here's Russ. And I'm taking over. What's going on, guys? Okay.
His name's Russ, but he's not the one who's rusty. That's Dave.
Maybe we should get the clubhouse doors open. Password. Who has a password this week?
Plug and Tums.
What does that mean, Geoff? What does that mean?
It's just a different way to fight your acid reflux.
Where do you plug them is what I want to know. I don't understand.
Plug and Tums?
Yeah. What does that mean?
Just go up your butthole.
Oh.
That's what plugging is.
Well, all right. Well, let's everybody tighten it up and let's squeeze into the door. Come on through, gang. So yeah, following up on that email we got recently, we are kicking back into one-hit wonder territory, but going to a new decade. We're going to do the 1980s today. So we've got 6 great picks from that era, and we're going to run choreographically. We're going to run chronologically. I know, just 2 C words. Stop being a C word, Geoff. You're being a C word.
God. Just judging so hard right now.
Totally. I feel super judged. But yeah, you had something that you were going to tell us about, Geoff, that was supposed to be really funny. Let's let listener be a judge of it.
Great intro. Thanks, Dave. Appreciate it.
That's the best part. When you ever ask Geoff to be funny, he just can't do it. He just cannot do it on command.
I actually don't.
And he gets all self-conscious and he tries really hard and he really hates it. And here we go. So
does that happen? Does that really happen?
Yes. I swear on the last One Hit Wonders episode, we said something about, I asked Geoff to tell us a funny story or something, and he went this whole story. It always happens. Someone's like, this is my funny friend, Geoff. Be funny, Geoff. And then I just can't do it. Nobody laughs. No one thinks I'm funny. And I hate when they do that. And I'm so sad. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
I didn't make myself a peanut butter sandwich now. Ugh.
Dude, what an impression. Just stomping right on my balls.
You sounded just like him. He does talk just like that.
Talk like this, hey. Sandwich. Fuck you. Hey.
Lyrics.
To switch gears real quick, do you guys mind if I return to the lyrics of a couple of songs that I actually have questions about? It's not
please.
It's not just a bit. So kind of in line with what I talked about before, like I'm not always sure about subtext. A couple of songs I wanted to ask about. I might have just missed it or not. I don't know if this is common knowledge or not common knowledge, but first song, Beatles. Happiness is a warm gun. Okay. The song's obviously about sex, right? When I feel your finger on my trigger, etc.
Sure.
But do you think that happiness is a warm gun is a play on words for penis is a warm gun?
Oh, that's funny. Oh, I like that.
Happiness is a warm gun doesn't make any sense at all. And I've always sung it and just been like, and the rest of the song is obviously about fucking. And so then I was like, penis is a warm gun is that obvious to everybody, or is that like, I feel like I discovered something, but did I?
That's kind of funny.
I've not heard it described like that before, but yeah, I always assumed that the gun was the penis. But if
Oh,
you
you
double
think that-
entendres that with, bang, bang, you bang, and then you shoot. Bang, bang,
Right.
shoot,
And
shoot.
he's saying, penis is a warm gun, right?
Yeah. I get that. I
That's
could see
obvious.
that.
I like it.
Okay, so it's not common knowledge, right? It has to be.
Not to me, but I like it.
It has to be a
Well,
joke.
that would
They
not
were
be
doing a joke.
subtextual at all. Right. So that would
No.
be pretty on the nose.
But that's what obviously, and so they
explaining
were
their
like, let's call
metaphor.
it. I bet they're like, let's call it happiness is a warm gun, and they're all like, that's pretty good. Dude, I just want to get to Paul McCartney and ask him if that's what it is. I need to know.
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah.
it's really in the mind of the beholder.
I don't know, man. When we saw him at ACL, it sounded like everything was like some kind of allusion to sex or whatnot. So I think you're
dude, Paul
probably
McCartney
right.
loves a bang. Smoke weed and bang.
Yeah.
All right, second song, real quick. Bryan Adams, Summer of '69. Are you supposed to hear the whole song as a double meaning on this is the summer where I've been 69ing?
He has come out and said that it was not the summer of 1969 at all. It was not that year. So
he has. So this is on the record.
I believe he has come out and said that on the record, saying that it was not the year 1969 that song was about. Wink, wink, So.
That's awesome. It was the summer of 69ing. Cool. I like that you immediately knew the answer to that one. You have also thought about that before.
Oh, yeah. I think everybody thought about that.
Final one, and this isn't really like, but okay, the song that goes, cotton candy, sweet as gold, let me see that Tootsie Roll. Right? Which is a phrase that works really well with that song, but it's just two food items and it doesn't really make sense. Was the Tootsie Roll, is that a penis or is it, let me see that Tootsie Roll? I thought it was maybe something that rolls. Is it supposed to be your butt gyrating? That's your Tootsie Roll?
Oh, I'm seeing right here that it was originally Tushy Hole, and they said that wouldn't rock, so they had to.
Is that true?
No, I don't know. I just made that up.
Oh, that's amazing. Good one. Let me see that Tushy Hole. Dude, did you get that? That's some good shit. And they're like, yeah, but dude, you're on Capitol.
You can't sell it at Walmart,
yeah,
man.
you can't say Tushy Hole.
What do you say we get right into the topic, guys? What do we think? Okay, cool. So, like I mentioned in our little intro bit, we're gonna go chronologically tonight from the release year, and so that means that Mr. Geoff is gonna kick us off tonight with his first song. So, take it away, sir.
I had a very difficult time because in my mind, the 80s they're the home of one-hit wonders. They're the pinnacle of one-hit wonderage. You had a bunch of people that were experimenting with new sounds. There were a lot of different genres of music. There were labels that were basically eager to put out new artists and try to like chart songs. They were like, this was like getting songs played on the radio was like at its most aggressive form, I feel like, in the 80s, and there's like payola and shit where they're like paying the studio to play, like all that stuff was still going on before it kind of faded away and there became like monoculture toward the end of the 90s. So the 80s is like a lot of bands getting on the radio. We heard a lot of songs in the 80s and they were all over the place, but there's some that just feel so tied to the decade, and maybe this is one of the first ones, though you could say Bow Wow Wow, I Want Candy. It came out and the name of the album is We Are the 80s, and that's definitely a one-hit wonder, but I chose this other one instead because it's goofy and weird and had a video that doesn't make any sense, which we'll talk about in a second, but it's also by a Canadian artist, or Canadian artists, in a band called Men Without Hats. It's 1982's the year of my birth. Safety Dance.
We can dance if we want to. We can leave your plans behind. Cause your friends don't dance, and if they don't dance, well, they're no friends of mine. Say place where they will never find. And we can act like we come from out of this world, leave the real one far behind. And we can dance.
All right, yeah, no. So, tell us about Men with Hats.
Men Without Hats. So, I think that this is a song.
Does that mean like no condoms, do we think? This is just a band of no condoms?
That's not what they're on the record as saying, but I think you could interpret it that way. Yeah.
Well, so it coming out in the beginning of the AIDS crisis, like that's an interesting thing too, where it's like safety dance, men without hats. Like, what do we?
Yeah,
There's
so
like a
it
little
didn't come
conflict
out
there.
in the middle of the AIDS crisis. This is pre-AIDS,
The beginning
because
of
that was a theory that people had about the song, and it's not true. But it's a good hypothesis. I think it just they've said no, it's not about AIDS. So first thing about this song is it could only have existed in the decade of the 1980s. Like this song, like it's there's no way it comes out in the 70s or the 90s or even now. Like it's so cute and cuddly and fun 80s. But it's interesting because these guys, they're called Men Without Hats because in Canada there was a guy and his brother, his name was Ivan, but they would walk around without hats because they wanted to show off their hair and be cool. And so they called themselves the Men Without Hats. And they were a punk band.
Okay.
And so their first stuff was punk, and then they had this stuff, and then by 1990 they were a hard rock band. So if you listen to some of their music from like 1990, it's kind of heading in the alternative music direction, which is pretty fun to hear. Like, because you're just like, this band is only this song to everybody. That's why they're a one-hit wonder, but they did and could do other stuff, and I think that's interesting. Part of the problem for them is they were obviously awful at marketing because, like, Men Without Hats is not a good name. Safety Dance is a great name for a song, and it's goofy and fun and all that stuff, and it's like, it's the Safety Dance, and everybody remembers a song that's about a dance that's named. So you've nailed it. But they have a name that doesn't match. And the video for it was them dancing around like they were in a Renaissance fair and singing this song. And it just doesn't make any sense. Like the song is about clubbing and it's about being at a party or something. That should have been the scene. But the song is actually about getting kicked out of dance clubs because they claim that they were doing some of the first forms of slam dancing when Blondie and some other bands would come on, and they kept getting kicked out of clubs in Canada for like pogoing is what they called it, like where they're bouncing up and down, but they're kind of bouncing into each other, you know, like getting rowdy a little bit, and they kept getting kicked out. And so he's like, we could dance if we want to. It's about fighting for your right to dance.
So they weren't like slam dancing though, but it's more like bumping, you know.
Yeah, it was like pegging and bumping, pogoing and bumping. The other weird thing is that if you look up the lyrics to this song, in half of the sites that put lyrics, which is like a whole cottage industry of websites, but half of the sites have Safety Dance in the chorus.
Okay.
All right. And then the other half have Safe to Dance. Like he's saying it's safe to dance, not the safety dance. And so I think that's open to your interpretation. As he said, it's safe to dance. It's safe to dance, which sounds like the safety dance. It's like they're the exact same thing.
Yeah, it works. It works. It's like happiness and a penis. They're exactly the same.
Exactly, dude. It all comes back around. That's it. Totally.
Safe to dance. Yeah. So it was like, it could have been like the secret hideout of the guy from Footloose, from Kevin Bacon, Footloose. That could be the theme song at his clubhouse.
Yeah, it could have been. Are there people that are alive that haven't heard this song now, do you think? Did it ever fall out of...
I would say yes. Like, I didn't know the name. And I was like, okay, I don't know what this is. And I played it, I'm like, oh yeah, I know this song, but I haven't heard it in 20 years or 30 years, maybe. No, or maybe I know it because Weird Al did a version of this song.
Yeah, he did do a version of it.
I was trying to think why I know this song, but I could definitely see people not knowing that song.
No, I was just going to say it has around 250 million streams, which
I think is good. I think that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Cool. No, man, I, of course, love that Weird Al sang that song, did a cover. It was a fun one.
What was his parody? I don't remember it.
It's called The Brady Bunch.
That's right.
It starts with, you can watch Mr. Rogers. That's the way it begins.
That is why I know that song.
Yeah, that's funny.
All right. Well, yeah, thanks, Jeffro. Love that one. The song that I've got for us next is another 80s song, and it's funny because it's sort of referential and influenced by like a really great David Bowie song, sort of a spiritual sequel to it, as it were. And let's give it a listen. The song is Major Tom, parenthetically, Coming Home.
Watching in a trance, the crew is certain, nothing left to chance. All is working, trying to relax. Up in the capsule, sent me up a drink. Jokes, Major Tom. The count goes on. 4, 3, 2, 1. Earth below us, drifting, falling, floating, weightless, calling.
So I really like that song. I think that's a fun one, man. It's like Geoff was talking earlier about how the rhythm is sort of like creepy and weird, and it's not really like in line with each other, but it kind of comes to that in the chorus. And so I mentioned it's the spiritual successor to David Bowie's Major Tom, which is about an astronaut in space who loses communication with the Earth or whoever sent him. And this kind of follows that up, where it's like he loses that connection, control, there's a problem. And then he's like, give my wife and love and nothing more. But then it goes through this whole bit where it's like he's being all introspective about, life and accepting his place in it. And just like, that's not my home anymore. Like the light ahead is my home, even though no one knows he's still alive. They all think he's dead and, and he knows he's going to die. So it's like this.
Or are the satellite aliens? Because it could go both ways.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It could go.
Could be aliens.
So Space Oddity came out in 1969, and then Major Tom came out in, what year is this? 84? 83?
83, I think. Yeah.
83?
Yeah.
So we're overdue a second spiritual sequel, no?
The song Black Star by David Bowie kind of is, because it's his last song before he dies, so it's about dying. And in the video, Major Tom is like sitting dead, I think, on a planet somewhere. Like he's just kind of like off in the nether regions of space. I don't think David Bowie thought of himself as in conversation with this version
Peter Schilling.
Peter Schilling. I wonder, do you think David Bowie liked the song?
That is a good question. I mean, I know that he liked when Nirvana covered his Man Who Sold the World.
Yeah.
He thought it was funny that like people didn't know that he wrote that song or sang it first or whatnot. As far as this, you think like a person as studious as me when it comes to being on a podcast and usually does such good research.
Actually, Reddit says, yeah, in one of the biographies I read, Bowie was very complimentary of the song, which is when Schilling apparently stopped pretending that his song wasn't really about Bowie's Major Tom. But this is just Reddit. There's no article about it.
Yeah, no sources there, just our opinions, man. But, it goes on to be a big part of pop culture. I think, like, this is a song that a lot of people have heard. I don't know, Russ, has this come across your playlist before?
I mean, my personal playlist, hell no. But do I know the song? Yes, I knew the song.
Are you familiar with it? You've heard it before? Right.
I am familiar with it, yes.
Well, so it was in Breaking Bad, and one of the greatest TV shows of the last, 2 decades, I'd say. Then it's in a couple other movies, like that Atomic Blonde movie, which is really kick-ass. It's kind of like that John Wick producer, I think, directed it. And it was awesome. I don't know. What do you all remember this song from?
I didn't really, I mean, it had percolated. I think I've heard it, but I didn't really rediscover this song until last year, and I put it on my liked songs playlist, which is now over 1,000 songs. It's just anytime I hear a song somewhere, and I'm like, oh, dude, love that one. And I put it on there. And so I've been hearing it more. I was talking about the dissonance, I feel like, between the vocal melody and also the beat, which is going like boom, 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 like that. And then there's another part, the little guitar part that's like ding, 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 like that. It's not all going together, and then it does, And and there's something about that that's like alluring to me.
I don't know where I heard this song the first time. I couldn't even tell you. I just recognized the chorus, and I didn't realize it was a Major Tom song, like based off like Space Oddity until this episode. So
yeah, I think like that's interesting also because like the chorus and the in the verse are sung differently. Like it's more of a kind of a whisper talk track on the verse. But then like the chorus is just this big kind of vocal exclamation, like, and it does evoke a bit of like grandeur of like maybe being in space and looking down into what the Earth must look like. I always am curious about that. To see that in person would be wild. Peter Schilling's German, but it was his first English language album. Like all of his other albums before this were all in German.
Dude, listen to this. Okay. Austrian singles chart 1, Belgian singles chart 3, Canadian singles chart 1, Dutch singles chart 2, French 2, German 1. He was crushing it. Bolivia, it was the number 1 song on the radio for a minute. Switzerland, like this song cleaned up around the world. Like that's wild.
For you football fans, this is also the goal song for the German national team.
But how did they play? Did they just play the chorus, do you think?
I think they play the chorus.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe that's why I know this song. Is that why I know this song? I only know the chorus. I didn't know what it was about. I am not very well versed in 80s music. Forgive me.
Yeah, thanks, listener. This is a real challenge for Russ, but he's sucking it up. I mean, no, he sucked it up. What am I trying to say? He's doing a good job. We like you, Russ. Okay, well, so speaking of how much we like our man Russ, let's let you have the mic. What do you got for us tonight, sir?
I am going with "You Spin Me Round," parenthetically like a record, by Dead or Alive, off their second studio record album. That's good. Off their second studio album, Youthquake, from 1985. Dead or Alive is a British dance pop group. This song was produced by the same team that did Rick Astley's Never Gonna Give You Up.
Oh,
nice.
Which we just talked about last episode.
Yeah.
And Pete Waterman of that group said that the song You Spin Me Round was recorded in a 36-hour session that was fueled by cocaine.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently, it was the only time he ever did coke, but he needed to keep his nose to the grindstone and in the cocaine to achieve it. And so it seems like a healthy solution. And we got a hit out of it. So
No
sounds
doubt.
good to me, I guess. You Spin Me Round hit number 1 in the UK, number 1 in Canada, number 1 in Switzerland, and made it to number 11 in the US. During his punk days, androgynous frontman Pete Burns broke his nose when someone headbutted him. And as he rose to stardom, he would hear photographers whispering about having to angle his head a certain way so that you couldn't see how his nose was tilted to one side. And I guess it started giving him a bit of a complex, I suspect. Anyway, so he got a rhinoplasty done by what he claims was a backstreet butcher.
Oh no!
And he says his nose caved in on one side, and then like a week later, before he could get anything done for it, he got called that he was going to be on Top of the Pops, which is like some British music television show.
Really big deal.
And so he wore the eye patch to hide like the botched surgery. And that's where the eye patch came from. It wasn't to like a fashion statement. It was to hide the surgery. But then, I don't know, if you watch this video, like he's got the eye patch on for half of it and not on half. And I couldn't see a issue there with his nose, but I don't know. Maybe it happened later.
That sounds like a made up story ish, or like there's something weird going on, like the way that Andre Agassi said that he wore a wig for a huge portion of his career because he had lost his hair, and he's out there just playing with a wig on. You're like, I guess I like you. That's what you're saying, and I believe you because it's your life. But I don't know, man. That's pretty wild. It seems like an embellishment, is my point.
Well, hold on. This story gets kind of interesting. So then he gets another surgery to fix it. But by that time, like he became addicted to plastic surgery and he had something like 300 different surgeries over his life. And he did this interview on
very uncomfortable.
This ABC interview where he talked about all of his botched surgeries, it's a wild thing. And he looks incredibly different from like then till much later in his life.
And it's crazy because he was pretty.
Yeah, he was a good looking dude for sure. Yeah.
Did not need surgery at all.
No. And the thing that stuck with me the most from this interview was that he was talking about I guess he started messing with his lips, like having stuff done on his lips.
Yeah.
And he got like these injections and fillers and more surgeries, but his body apparently started rejecting it. And so he went to the surgeon and he said, no, just you need to put more of this shit in there, like fill it here and more of these injections of this and that and whatever. And he kept trying to get it fixed over the course of like this 4-year period until one morning he just woke up and like one of his eyes was swollen shut. And he said his bottom lip was like 18 inches away from his mouth and that his Adam's apple was sticking out farther than his jaw. And he had this yellow discharge that didn't just leak, but would squirt with a hiss from his face.
Oh my God.
So fucking disgusting. And he said it was like the worst science fiction horror movie creature you'd ever seen. It's like, whoa. Like,
dude, that is terrifying.
It's terrifying. But he finally finds another doctor who specializes in rebuilding faces that were eaten away by cancer to repair him. But that you see the picture of what he looks like now with the big cheeks
and the enormous lips.
I say no.
Yeah. That's
and then even then he said he had no intention of stopping the surgeries, so you just like keep them coming. He died at 57 from a heart attack.
No way.
Probably a lot of
a lot of stress.
Stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Ticker. And
apparently he and Boy George had this rivalry going, like when they were both up and coming, like through the 80s, and Pete claimed that Boy George appropriated his image. They were both trying to get that kind of androgynous look, I guess. But after his death, Boy George described Pete as one of our greatest true eccentrics and then paid for his funeral.
The bigger, I was going to say the bigger man, but the bigger, whatever, like, boy, you know?
Yeah.
So
well done.
Fun fact, they did have an album called New Cleopatra, which really rolls off the tongue nicely.
Yeah, that's a good portmanteau, if you will.
And in 2021, whoever was left of the band apparently put out an album called Spin Drive, which had 23 tracks on it. 14 of them were different versions of You Spin Me Round, and 9 of them were different versions of Sex Drive. So
that's amazing.
To quiet your question, no, it was not a cash grab at all.
So yeah, that is like almost definitional one-hit wonder. Like they hardly had anything else that people have ever heard, right? I mean, it's
good on them for flexing into it. So
yeah, whatever you got to do, man.
Yeah.
Also, terrible band name. So sometimes one-hit wonders are one-hit wonders because their band names are so bad. It's like, who are you going to see, Dead or Alive? It feels like it's a weird shitty metal band or something, you definitely don't expect it to be like a glam rock kind of androgynous pretty guy that's leading the charge, in Dead or Alive. It also happens to be the name of a Bon Jovi song, which doesn't help. It just isn't.
Yeah, that's got to be
name.
so confusing, right? You call into the radio, hey, can you play Dead or Alive? And they're like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, and it's like,
damn it, they got the wrong one.
Wanted.
That used to be my karaoke song.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Nice.
And I walk these streets with a 6-string on my back. I'm playing for keeps.
I'm pretty sure it's a loaded 6-string.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it is. It's a loaded 6-string on his back. That's right. It is.
So, So Bon Jovi in the 80s, Slippery When Wet. I'm okay with that album.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
All right.
Just hot sports opinion over here. Bon Jovi was fucking good, and everybody needs to get over it. You can't lump them into White Snakeville and just write it all off. Like, Bon Jovi was a good band that wrote a lot of like very well-known rock songs. Like it's not, I don't know, man. I get annoyed with people like hating on Bon Jovi just because they had hair or whatever. Yeah, they had hair, but they were like pretty boys. But dude could play guitar and Bon Jovi could sing. It was good.
I really think Russ picked this track because he wanted to talk about all of the fucked up shit that happened at Pete's face.
Yeah.
He wanted to see how gross he could get with his pick. He's like, you're going to make me pick an 80s song? Well, you're going to fucking hear this nasty shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
The way they describe the yellow discharge hissing from his face.
That's really disgusting.
God.
To hear you describe it as a visceral experience, I'll just say that.
Yeah, you did the equivalent of burning down the hut of 80s music with that.
Hey, let's take 5 and do a pod swap.
What was the last really great rock and roll book you read? How about a good rock and roll documentary? Well, that's why I started the Rock Talk Studio podcast, the place to go for recommendations of new rock and roll books and documentaries. Give me 20 minutes and the Rock Talk Studio podcast will get you caught up on the world of rock and roll books and docs from every possible angle and leave you with a no-doubt decision on where to spend your time and money. Want to know what to read next or which film to add to your watch list? Well, here comes all the top recommendations and hidden gems you don't want to miss. I'm your host, Big Rick. Join me for an exclusive look into what's hitting the shelves and the screens and get ready to rock your reading and viewing list. The Rock Talk Studio podcast, your ultimate guide to discovering the best new rock and roll books and documentaries.
Sweet. Check them out. Back to 6 picks. Next song is coming up from Mr. Geoff. Geoff, what is your second song tonight?
Second song, I think has somewhere around 800 million streams in the world, maybe more, and hardcore one-hit wonder from 1985. This is Katrina the Waves, Walking on Sunshine. So Katrina and the Waves, everybody has heard the song. It's been in movies, it's been in TV commercials, all over the place. I'm sure they made like a career out of the song specifically for a while. It was their first hit. They were called Katrina and the Waves. It's about walking on sunshine. The music video is the 3 bandmates of Katrina, and they're all in trench coats, and it looks like dreary London. It's all like... it looks like 80s Thatcherite London, like kind of crap. And she's just like bouncing around, like feeling good. And then they're following her. And then they turn in at the end to a rock band that's playing the song, and everybody's like, yeah, fuck yeah, or what, so it's about like transforming things to be upbeat and make your art even in a dreary place. But the problem for them, and the reason they ended up being a one-hit wonder, is that their image in their mind didn't match the way that they had been packaged. And so they even said like they wanted us to be like the Beach Boys or something, but we were more of a brooding band in our mind. So I think they wanted to be something more like the Pretenders, or something that had like more street cred, but they just got turned into bubblegum, right? And so they were wearing like black turtlenecks in pictures and stuff. And the record label I've ever even heard of, it was called Attic, was like, this, you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. And so they dropped them after this record, like, even though it was an enormous hit. And so it's and it has a lot of streams still. And then like it was affected by Hurricane Katrina some, which is interesting, that I think people came back around to the song some because of word association and searching for Katrina, and the song's coming up. But yeah, I mean, it's one of the indisputable heavyweight champions of one-hit wonders, and certainly of 80s one-hit wonders. So it's catchy as fuck.
And it's like in everything. You were saying that it's like in movies and commercials and TV shows. I read that it's $200,000 to license it.
Whoa.
So it's just like every time it's been played,
dude,
it's $200K.
That
like,
is,
and what is that?
So
like
much money.
1,000 times has this been played? I don't know. This was in high fidelity in the year 2000, as well as in American Psycho, which I only recently learned were both in the year 2000. They came out in the same year. Isn't that weird?
That is weird.
Why is it weird?
I never associated those two movies as like being of the same timeline.
I think somebody got into Geoff's stash.
I mean, I guess.
It's like 2 movies came out in the year 2000. Whoa, it's blowing my mind. So weird.
No, but like, I don't remember seeing them in that same era, same frame. I don't know. I just didn't expect to think that like those were the 2 movies that happened in the same year. Maybe it is.
Wait, what 2 movies again?
Oh, good. It's like Geoff and Dave are on the same wavelength tonight.
Let's take a break and chew the fat. Play that motherfucker.
Geoff, Russ, and Dave in the motherfucking chat, chewing the fat on stuff weird and whack.
Oh, hey, real quick, I got targeted for this website last week called misfitstoys.com, because like the Misfits were here a couple of weeks back recently, and I was looking to see if I get last minute tickets, because sometimes they're just like super cheap, and it was going to be a good show. Reverend Horton Heat was playing, some other cool bands, but anyway, it didn't work out. But like Google heard and sent me this website, and so I got a pop up from them, and it's like, hey, get a free Misfits toys mystery box for $5 or whatever, shipping, whatever you got to cover. I was like, okay, I mean, Misfits toys for $5. Let's see what they got. So I sent it in, and they sent back this stuffed dog that you had to put batteries in, and I'm like, what the fuck? This is not a Misfit toy. These aren't nothing to do with the Misfits. So I just gave it to the girls, and they're playing with it, and it talks. It was like, oh, my tummy hurts, and I was like, poke my head in, and the girls are just like, there's it looks like there's shit all over their face, and the out of the back of the dog are these like logs of shit. I'm like, what are you eating? And they're like, it's Snickers. And I was like, oh my God.
Wait. So what happens? You rub the tummy and it poops out a Snickers?
Yeah, you rub the tummy. It says my tummy hurts, and you rub it, and then it poops out a log of Snickers. I want my $5
that's the
back.
best.
But anyway, Misfit Toys with a Z. Go check it out, I guess.
And now back to Six Picks Music Club.
So our next tune is this is the greatest one-hit wonder. It has been voted on as the number one-hit wonder of all time. So
Is that right?
I made a one-hit wonder tournament and it was
that's the one that
it was
won.
the
This is the
champ.
one that won.
Yeah.
Would have been,
Oh,
yeah.
are you upset that I didn't let you pick it? I'm
No,
sorry.
I don't. No, dude, you picked the right. This is the one-hit wonder. I'm just saying. What you did is you picked Tom Brady. Like you were coming in and you're like, hey, let's have a conversation about quarterbacks. You're like Tom Brady. And so it's like, okay, yeah, I mean, somebody has to put Tom Brady on the board if you're talking about quarterbacks. And somebody has got to put Aha's Take on Me if you're talking about one-hit wonders. So,
Well, thank you for that excellent intro for my song. I appreciate it. This way I don't have to.
Talking away. I don't know what to say. I'll say it anyway. Today is another day to find you shying away. I've been coming for your love, okay? Take on me. Take on me. Take me on. Take on me. I'll be gone.
dude, I love how in the chorus it goes into halftime. Like in the middle of the chorus, it's like, it's like boom, 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 boom. That's fucking awesome, man. Whoever wrote that shit, did Aha write that or was it somebody else?
Yeah. They wrote it.
That's amazing.
So-
It's just an all-time banger and they did nothing else. It's wild.
I don't know what I'm to say about this 80s one-hit wonder, other than this is a clear case of if you don't succeed, try again, right? So the Norwegian pop trio wrote this song in 1982, but it had a different title and different lyrics, but the music was basically the same. Then with that song, they got the attention of Terry Slater in 1983, who became their manager and helped them get a deal with Warner Records. In 84, they rewrote the song and it became Take On Me, but not the version you know that we just heard, right? They released it as a single. It made it to number 3 in Norway, but flopped everywhere else.
That's right.
You can find this version with the original music video on YouTube if you're interested.
Yes.
It's an unremarkable video filled with split screens, and it's got Morton Harkett making love to the camera and this like cartwheeling woman. Have you seen this?
No. Put it in the show notes, dude. Listener, go watch it. Go watch it.
Is it the blue? It's got a blue backdrop.
Yeah, the blue one. Yep, that one. Then their manager, Terry Slater, suggested that they re-record the song again. Like this dude was determined to like make this song a hit, I think. So this time he said, why don't you record it with producer Alan Tarney, who focused on the instruments and turned the volume up on the energy. And then in 85, an exec from A&M Records moved over to Warner, loved the song, so he hired Steve Barron to direct the music video, who then commissioned Michael Patterson to implement the animation style that he used on a student project he made where he won the like Student Academy Award in 1981. So that's where like the whole like animation with the comic book and stuff came in that way. So at this point you got this Norwegian song, Warner has this music video and they're excited with what they have, but MTV will not play the video. They can't get it on the radio. So they decide to promote the song through the video. They first put it in theaters. So people are watching, the first people to see this video are seeing it in movie theaters.
Oh, that's a good idea.
That's cool.
Yeah, reaction's good. MTV finally decides to air it. Then it takes off. Once it's on MTV, the radio starts playing it, and then it became a top 40 hit, reaching number 1 for 1 week, right? Aha is still together. Their friendship started to dissolve in the late 80s, and they've broken up at least 3 times, but they always get back together. And you say, like, is it because they can't live without each other? No. They apparently fucking hate each other. They travel separately, they meet in the studio or on stage, and they barely talk about anything except what has to do with the band. Why do they do it? Like, we all know the answer, right? Because if you said it's because fame is addictive and none of their other side projects can earn like aha, then you're right. Because they do it for the fame and fortune.
Cash rules everything around me. Cream.
But at least they love their music, right? The answer again is no. Because they apparently fucking hate Take On Me, which is hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
That is hilarious.
They play it all the time because everybody loves it. That's what pays the bills. I think they're just kind of miserable, but
It has 2 billion streams on Spotify.
yeah, 2 billion streams though.
It's a titan.
That's why you can write one song and make a career out of it. And those guys have done it.
That would be a very fascinating. I would love to watch the documentary form of them going on as a band, committed to their other music, but also hating each other. So they hate each other and the song that made them famous that everybody knows. So what a weird life to live.
They can't get away from each other.
They
Yeah.
can't get away from each other or from that song.
There is a documentary all about that.
Oh,
So
well, perfect.
you can check out the documentary about Aha and how they don't like each other and how they play the same songs that they don't like.
What's the name of the documentary? Is it I Hate You? I hot you.
I'll hate you.
I
Don't want your life.
you.
Aha, chew. Is that a sneeze? It's kind of interesting how like both of y'all's last 2 songs did have like huge videos on MTV. We haven't really talked about MTV and how it impacted like music in this period. It changed a lot of stuff. For like Katrina and the Waves, I feel like it is very much about how their image didn't match what they wanted to be. And like there were so many other bands that were like putting out music that was really great, but their image wasn't the MTV image, and so they didn't make it. They didn't even get a one hit. They were just like, okay, we have a cult following or whatever. And then, you know, Aha's got the one song that was one of the biggest, coolest videos of all time, and like, it is very cinematic. To see it in a theater would be wild. I'm jealous of those fuckers.
Yeah, what is the name of that documentary?
It's called Aha, the movie. Yeah.
I gotta buy Apple TV right now because there's just a couple of series that I have to watch.
Dude, Slow Horses is pretty good.
Is it slow?
Is it too slow?
It starts a little slow, but it picks up. It picks up. It gets bought up.
Yeah, because I'm always watching TV when I'm sleepy. Like if it's just like me watching the subtle nuances of Gary Oldman's acting, I will fall asleep in 10 minutes. You know, I have no chance.
Yeah, I like Gary Oldman, but I do hear it. It's like, man, his Winston Churchill movie, I tried.
Yeah. Darkest Hour was a bit slow.
Ooh.
Yeah.
This is not slow like that. Yeah.
I guess because of that, then you put slow in the title, and I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, that's the problem. It slows in the title. So much of what we talk about in
If it was like racehorses, I might have checked it out already.
Yeah. So much of what we talk about on the podcast does come down to branding and imaging, and like I cannot hear the like I've heard people talking about that show, talking about how good it is, and I'm just like, Slow Horses. I am not gonna be able to watch it. Like I just, if it was called anything else, like Cop Balls, or I'd be like, oh, maybe, you know, it's got Gary Oldman in it, but there's just something about Slow Horses. But
Yeah.
I'm in bed already.
Night.
Yeah, you really have to work hard on naming stuff. Like,
Yeah.
so much thought should go into your name because it makes such a big difference. And maybe we're not a good example, or maybe we are. Like, there are so many other podcast names in the world. We had a couple of good names that were taken, you know, that would have worked. It's not about us, but I'm just saying, like, it is important, I think.
But that was like the whole thing with MTV, is that like it became about that visual element of their branding. It's like, do you look away that, you know, we want to be advertising? Is this going to bring more money? You know, how do we grow this thing?
I'm surprised that it was so hard for them to get on MTV because the guy is absolutely beautiful, this human being. Like,
I think it's just because I bet if they were American, it wouldn't have been a problem at all.
Yeah, that might be.
Norwegian, they're like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And again, like the stars had to align. I mean, they had to have people just like really championing them to get it through. Like, how many times they did the song 3 different times, it's like, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
It's a great video, dude. When they emerge from the cartoon and then he's gotten his ass beat by the guys with the wrenches or whatever, the gearheads. And then he's like hitting the walls and then he falls down. He looks up. It's like a short film. If you think about like other videos in 1985, they were all over the place, but there was so much low production value on some of those. Like the one we were talking about earlier with it was 3 years before, but the Men Without Hats video is like horrible. Like I encourage you to watch it because of how it is so mismatched from the music, and you're just like, why did they do like they're like it's basically him dressed like the Renaissance standing in hay is what it feels like, singing Safety Dance. Whereas like Aha, it's a perfect interpretation of the song, and it's got villains in it, and it's like this is amazing.
Yeah, but it took 2 tries to get there, though.
Yeah. That's it.
I mean, like that first video is not great. I mean, it's fine. It's fine, I guess, but it's nothing. They're just like, oh, we make a video, we try to get on MTV because that's what you do, and then they're like, I guess like that video's not good enough, so then you figure out how to make it something new.
I dig it because it's a story. It's a story about how important it is to edit, and I love editing. I do. As a writer, but just the idea that it's like, no, if you keep working on it and you keep working on it, it will eventually be good. Which is what Russ keeps telling us about this podcast, but I'm not sure he's right.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But no, it's funny. Like the song I almost picked to be our last song tonight was like the first song they played on MTV. The video killed the radio star.
Oh, the Buggles.
I love that track. Yeah, and it's great. But I went a little different this time, and actually, one of the fun things about this song is that it's the first song to ever win the Grammy for Song of the Year and Record of the Year. First time that it's ever been an a cappella song. The thing about that is that Bobby McFerrin, singer of Don't Worry, Be Happy, sings every single part of this song. He beatboxes the rhythm, all of the notes. It is all him tracked together. So let's give it a listen.
That's amazing. I did not know that.
I did not know that either. That is super cool.
Here's a little song I wrote. You might want to sing it note for note. Don't worry. Be happy. In every life we have some trouble, but when you worry you make it double. Don't worry. Be happy. Don't worry, be happy now. Don't worry. Be happy.
Hell yeah, man. So this is also featured in the soundtrack to the movie Cocktail with Tom Cruise, with Mr. Tom Cruise. And yeah, so it's like very much that on the beach, like having a Mai Tai, like flirting with the bartender, kind of like song of the summer. It's crazy to me that like this song took over a Guns N' Roses track for the #1 position.
Oh, nice. It was Welcome to the Jungle, huh?
No, Sweet Child of Mine.
Sweet Child of Mine.
So Sweet Child of Mine was the #1 track, and then this track took it over. Bobby McFerrin dethroned the hard rock gods of the 80s, Guns N' Roses.
That's badass. What if you mash them together? It's like, whoa, don't worry, be happy.
Or if he's singing in the background, he's like, and then Bobby's just like, don't worry.
That's awesome. I read a crazy story about Axl Rose. Apparently he was at like in 1989 or 90, around there, when they were like really becoming a massive act. he said that Depeche Mode came out and played on some award show, and he was in the crowd going like, Depeche Mode sucks, and like everybody's like, God, dude, Axl Rose is such a dick, and he was like, they suck, and then he was like, but then like, you know, that's just my instinct is to like hate on everything I hear, you know, and it's not like my thing. And he's like, but then I went and picked up some of their tapes and like started listening to Depeche Mode to see what the fuss was about, and they're awesome. And I love Depeche Mode. And then he became like a big Depeche Mode fan and was inspired to write November Rain by one of their songs. Isn't that crazy? It's just such a weird.
That's wild.
Yeah. But he was like, I like that he owned up that he was just being a dick. And then, no, they're actually pretty good. I was like, I feel bad about that.
Turns out I missed the radar.
No.
One. You know,
God damn it. I told that whole story. It was the wrong fucking band. It was Pet Shop Boys. He loves Pet Shop Boys.
Huh. Yeah, no, those are different bands.
I know it's different, but it's like,
bands.
and it's so much better because Pet Shop Boys is another band with the name. You're like, this has to be like the wussiest music, and it's good.
It's like nighty night for me.
Is it good? Because that's one of those things where I'm like, nope.
I
like.
I mean,
I'm judging that book by its cover.
Yeah,
Slow horses right out.
Yeah, I don't think it's a great name, but they are Depeche Mode-esque. Like they're a solid synth band, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, another musical hole in my history is The Cure. Like I'm having to go back and refill that pothole that's missing because like You never
listened to Disintegration growing up?
Man, I had like I'm in Love is the only Cure song I knew, and I was just like, not for me.
Killing an Arab, based off the Camus book, The Stranger.
L'étranger.
Yeah.
Dude, that's a good band, especially early Cure is really good stuff.
Yeah. No, early 80s Cure is top shelf, man. Well, so yeah, that's definitely a one-hit wonder. Like there is not another song that charted for Bobby McFerrin. He is, a huge jazz musician. He played with Herbie Hancock at the Playboy Mansion, actually. And
did you say he played Herbie Hancock at the Playboy Mansion? Does that mean he was just jerking off there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he played him.
He played with Herbie Hancock, the jazz musician. They did a show together. Happened to be at the Playboy Mansion.
Here's a little cock I stroked. I'm gonna suck it note for note.
How dare you?
You're gonna suck it note for note? How do you even do that?
Hey, don't worry.
Don't worry.
It's on me.
He's like singing it to you before he blows you. It's great.
And he's just like, as he's whistling, he's blowing across the tip of your penis. Well, that's going to do it for us today.
Yeah,
Six Picks Music.
that's it.
Yeah, but before we get out of here, we got to reach into the mailbag and see if we got any letters this week. And it turns out, yeah, we actually did. And let's see. Oh, yeah, today's is from Tim in Arlington. And he says, hey, guys, I remember when Geoff was talking about great underpants a while back, and I think you should check out Bamboo Cool Boxer Briefs. They're 92% bamboo and 8% spandex. You won't find a more comfortable crotch carrier. Okay, Tim, I know that Fro's pretty happy with his Mansack. Yeah.
My kids have like these bamboo pajamas.
Yeah.
Those things are super soft and stretchy.
Is it legit?
I mean,
right. Well,
I never heard about it for underwear, but maybe like they're pretty cool. So
this says you get 7 pair for $60. So that's a better deal than the Mansack, or what do you call it?
That's a better deal than it's man-made. Yeah.
Man-made. Yeah.
Tell me the name of the.
I don't know that
tell
they
me
have
the
the
brand
same.
again. These bamboo
It's
shorts.
called Bamboo Cool
Hmm.
Boxer Briefs.
Bamboo Cool.
Amazon it.
Jesus. Who are
the marketing? It goes back to the marketing.
These namings that happen.
It's
I guess
real
they're
tragedy.
like, well, what it makes our company different, and they're like, well, bamboo, obviously.
Our underpants are
Yeah,
bamboo.
and so bamboo has to be in the title because we have to make these undies all about bamboo. But there's like funny. Surely there are funny.
I'm gonna
words
try
that you
it.
could-
I'm gonna try them.
What about bam boom boom? What about
Yeah.
dude? Make
thanks Tim,
bam
for the
boom
recommendation.
boom.
We will.
Hopefully they're good. Otherwise, they'll be bamboozled.
Yeah.
Oh, that is not a very good dad joke. Bamboo.
Tim also says check out the band Magna Carta. They're down in Austin. Oh, they're down in Austin too. And
good name, Magna Carta. Fuck yeah.
Tim loves their Temptation track.
Going back to the English Constitution.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Timbo. Appreciate those recommendations. And play it loud. Keep jamming. This episode of Six Picks Music Club was produced by Izzy Sheaton. Edited by Terry Bull. And special thanks to Dixie Wrecked.
You ride when I call 5 minutes before I skate up in the 89. Money Carlo blow your mind, say you come outside. Hit this Interstate 5, pour that cherry wine. Otherwise, this gon' be goodbye. Stars, they don't align. Listen now. Out here,